So you said you started working here July 16th?
Yep, I started on the 16th.
Okay. And did you move here for the position? Or?
I did.
Okay.
I actually was working at Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
And I was a study abroad coordinator there. And then I saw this position posted and applied for the job here.
Okay. And how long have you lived here so far? Did you come here right in July? Or?
Yeah, I came at the very beginning of July. I got here on July 2nd.
Okay. And do you have any family or relatives here, or are you just here on your own? Or?
I don't have any family here. My boyfriend had just moved here. He's the director of residence life at Jacksonville University.
Okay. And could you describe the position that you have now?
Sure. The position that I'm working here at the International Center for is essentially the new English Language Program and International Student Recruiter. So what they mainly hired me for was to maintain and also help diversify the English Language Program students. So really to help us have a global presence and help with the internationalization of the campus. So mainly what I'll be doing is planning the recruitment trips and contacting schools and anyone else that we need to meet with when we do recruiting trips abroad, and then doing the actual recruitment trips themselves. And then obviously helping in any way I can here in the International Center when I'm in the country.
So you were mentioning recruitment trips. I'm assuming that's where you were considering letting me know about certain numbers.
Right. In terms of, I just wasn't sure if you were curious about where we were going or how we come up with those plans, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
We reference data that's provided from NAFSA, and it comes out of the actual Institute of International Education. It's called the Open Doors Report. So a lot of people reference that for all sorts of information. We reference it for where are students coming from other countries, what are the biggest numbers, and all of those kinds of trends to get an idea of where students are coming from to decide where we should be recruiting.
Okay. Do you have any plans for where you'd like to go?
We have a first-year plan that is kind of a proposal right now, and so that's with the director, and he'll be presenting that also to Dr. Gonzalez. So that's kind of in the works right now. There's nothing official yet, except for we do have a recruitment trip coming up at the end of the month.
Okay. Could you, I guess, elaborate a little bit more on that recruitment trip?
Sure. That trip is being scheduled to be in Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay.
Okay.
And those three countries will be doing recruitment trips, meeting with high schools and meeting with other various contacts that are appropriate for recruiting students for the university, either for the English language program or for international students to come and actually be an undergraduate or graduate student.
All right. And you said you heard about this position you just saw online? And
one of the popular places to search for careers in higher education is on higheredjobs.com. That's a really popular posting site, and so that was actually one of the places I actually looked on a whim to see if there was anything in Jacksonville, and I saw the position was posted and read into it and thought it sounded really interesting, so I put in my materials.
Okay. And so I'm assuming that you were specifically looking for a job in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I was looking in Jacksonville, but with the understanding that the only kind of jobs I would apply for was something in international education.
Okay.
I really liked what I was doing as a study abroad coordinator, but was interested in something that was a little more hands-on with international students and with the travel component, really just kind of getting a chance to have that experience of extensive travel and also learning how to do the various parts of the job, because international centers do a lot on most campuses, and my experience was limited to study abroad at that point. So when I applied for this job, I was looking to kind of expand my resume.
Okay. Great. And you said this is a new program?
New position.
A new position, okay.
It's a new position in the office.
Okay. And what are your impressions of UNF so far?
I love UNF. I think for me the biggest thing was when I drove onto campus and came off 295 into that huge entrance. I think for me that was just so different because the campus where I worked before in Texas is kind of in a suburban area, and you literally are in a neighborhood and then you're on campus. And it's a much smaller campus. It's a little more, it feels a little more traditional. And so coming here, I think I was just kind of like, this is an enormous campus, and you guys have a lot of really great stuff going on. It's all very new and up to date. So it's been a lot of fun to learn. I loved where I was before, but here I'm really enjoying it so far. I like how open it feels, and everybody's been so incredibly friendly. So it's been an easy transition so far.
That's great. Let's see what else. What about this opportunity that you are excited the most about? I know you mentioned the extensive travel, but is there anything else?
I think the extensive travel is obviously a big part of the reason probably most people applied for this position. It's a really attractive quality, but it's also something that will require a lot of work. So for me, I see it as a position that actually will challenge me and push me to do things I haven't done before. Even just getting prepared for this kind of travel is new for me. And so I'm kind of learning the ropes as I go, and I think that by the time that I've been in this position for 6 months to a year, I'll start really getting the hang of it, of being able to do a lot more to help the office with the travel component of everyone's job, of hopefully being able to be a resource. So, like I said, it's kind of a resume extension, but even more so than that, it's something that I'm excited about and something that will challenge me. It's not something I can just kind of come in and do halfway. It's something I'll have to give 100% to, and I'm looking forward to that.
So I kind of want to get into more of your background,
Okay.
and just wanting to know more about, I guess, your positions at Texas and whatnot.
Okay.
Were you born in Texas? Or?
I wasn't. I was actually born in Pennsylvania. My family moved a lot. When I was growing up, they were ministers, and my mother was actually an Air Force brat, so she had done all kinds of travel when she was growing up too. So we moved a lot. I spent most of my childhood in Michigan. That's what I would consider home. It's probably Grand Rapids, Michigan. They lived in Atlanta for a little while, and now both my parents actually live in Illinois. And I have siblings in Texas. I have a sibling in Texas, I have a sibling in Seattle, and then I have a little brother in Illinois as well. So we're kind of all over the place, but I'm not from Texas originally.
And I guess, what other places have you gone abroad?
When I've done travel abroad, I've traveled in Italy, in England, and Ireland, and then I did my study abroad in West Africa. So I lived in Ghana for 5 months and did a trip to Togo while I was there. And then some travel to Mexico, but when you live in Texas, you don't really count that, because it's mostly just over the border.
So when did you become interested in being abroad, and did you always want to have a position like this, or?
I grew up with a real interest in people from different international communities. My mother worked in refugee services when I was growing up, so I grew up around refugees from all over the world, but specifically from Africa and in parts of the Middle East. So that was something that I just kind of grew up around and was very comfortable with and very interested in from the very beginning. So my degree, I went to school at TCU before I worked for them. And so my degree at TCU was actually in international communications, and it had an emphasis in advertising and public relations. So I kind of always had that interest. I was interested in the politics and the anthropology and in language, and so I kind of did all of those as minors while I was at TCU and explored what the options would be. And then after I graduated, I had done an internship where I was teaching peace and social justice workshops across the country. I would change states every week for a summer, and was teaching high schoolers, and so I did that. And then at the very tail end of that internship is when the position at TCU was posted for the study abroad coordinator, and so I applied for that, and it all worked out, and so I was there, and it was a natural fit. So for me, I was kind of like, okay, I guess higher education is a good place for me to look, to have that chance to interact with students, but to also be doing something that has an international emphasis, which is what I'm really interested in.
Let's see. I guess, do you have any hobbies or interests that are outside of work that you'd like to share? Things that you're hoping to do while you're in Jacksonville?
Sure. I think one of the first things I've got to figure out is how to meet people in Jacksonville, because I've been pretty spoiled in Fort Worth, Texas. I knew just about everybody that I was surrounded by because I was there for 6 years. And so moving here, it's just kind of that adjustment. I have a pit bull, and so You do great, yeah. So I spend some time at the dog park and walk her and do that. It's honestly a big part of my outside of work life. I'm admittedly somebody who spends a lot of time with their dog. I also run. I wouldn't say that I'm a runner because I'm not in any way, shape, or form talented at running, but I enjoy running. So I've thought about getting hooked up with a running group here in Jacksonville. It's something I'm interested in. But other than that, I think I'm just kind of like the normal 20-something in terms of I go out sometimes, I like restaurants, I enjoy antiquing, which is, I think, more common now than it may have been 20 years ago. But I think it's probably the only things of note.
I guess That was really all the questions I had. Unless there was anything else you wanted to add.
No, I think that's it. Pretty basic. Did you get everything you needed?
Basically.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem at all.